right. Thank you for joining us again. We welcome you to another episode of the NES Happy Hour with Fitz and Master G. I'm Master G. Just to prove my little co-host is here. This little guy is Fitz, little Boston Terrier, likes to play Nintendo games with me after work. He will be joining us today, where we will be featuring one of my favorite games from the NES, inexplicably some might say, but nonetheless one of my favorite games from my childhood. The game we will be playing today is Jaws, based on the hit movie franchise about killer sharks from the 70s and 80s. So before we get going, if you're new to the show, we do like to feature a special cocktail to go with our happy hour theme. Today's cocktail was a pleasure to create. It is a spin on the Long Island Iced Tea. I mean, it's more or less a Long Island Iced Tea with one or two special exceptions, which are you got to add yourself some of that raspberry syrup and cherry cola to give it that nice red color to fit with the Jaws theme. Blood in the water. So the Amity Island Iced Tea, featuring Amity Island from the movie Jaws, is our cocktail of the day. It's a delicious one. However, we are filming this episode on a Wednesday midweek, so a questionable drink choice, I understand. I had to make mine a little bit light. I do work a day job, so I can't be pounding Amity Island iced teas all night, not on a Wednesday. You might ask, Master G, why didn't you save this for a Friday game where we could party? Well, I normally save the Friday games to play difficult or bad games, or games where there's not much to do or talk about, games that are known for being terrible. And I just couldn't do that to this game. I know a lot of people in my life have said, you know, what about Jaws? Or I'll mention the game Jaws that I used to rent all the time on the NES, and people will say to me, oh, what a terrible game. And I disagree. I do not think this is a terrible game, despite it being a movie license, an LJN game, a company known for making terrible movie versions of Nintendo games. I disagree, and I could not do this game the dishonor of featuring it on a Friday, where we normally feature games that are laughably bad from the NES library, for the very reason that it's Friday, so I can throw back a couple cocktails, try to make it entertaining for you, especially when it's a bad game. I don't think I'm going to have trouble making this game entertaining, because I love this game. I rented this game all the time as a kid. I love the movies. From the very first time I saw the original Jaws, it came out in 1975. I wasn't alive then, but was able to watch the movie on TV in my childhood. Some might ask, why were you even allowed to watch a movie like this in your childhood? And I don't know the answer to that. Jaws is an American classic. Should be a staple of everyone's film history. I don't care how old it gets. You know, Steven Spielberg, a director I'm sure future generations who might be watching this video on YouTube know or will know of. I mean, he kind of made his big break with this movie. It kind of put him on the map. John Williams, a fantastic composer. You know, he composed the score for Jaws. It wasn't the score that made him famous, so to speak, but I mean, it came before the Star Wars franchise. It gave him credence as like a movie composer. So, I mean, it is a quintessential part of American pop culture. If for some reason you're watching this video decades in the future on YouTube, or you've stumbled upon it on the internet somewhere and you've never heard of Jaws, do yourself a favor right now. Look it up, find a copy, watch it. It's important. You know, I even have the original paperback version of the book, which was written by Peter Benchley. Now, the movie Jaws did not take, it wasn't like an exact adaptation of the book. They took a lot of liberties with the movie. But he wrote this book, Jaws, got made into a movie. The rest is history. Steven Spielberg's famous. Everybody knows Jaws. Everybody knows the music. And everybody should know about the NES game, because I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it out to be. I'll tell you why throughout the show. I'll be giving you plenty of my own opinions about this game, because as I mentioned, it is kind of one of my favorites, just for the sake of nostalgia. Not just because I'm nostalgic about the movie, but because I'm nostalgic about the game itself. You know, back in the early '90s, you used to go to video game stores and rent games, and this game was always available because people didn't like it. So, you know, you'd go in there and most of the games would be rented before you got there with your family. You'd have only maybe like 10 or 12 Nintendo games left to pick. And, you know, if I didn't get what I was there to get, I would just get Jaws. It's going to be another Jaws weekend. As a kid, it's a very easy game to pick up. I mean, as far as like, you know, the 6-year-old version of Master G could very easily get into this game, play it, navigate it. I never really understood what I was supposed to do, but that didn't make it any less fun, especially, you know, as a child. It was always scary. I knew the movies. I'd stay up late, you know, playing this game and listening to the music, getting scared about when Jaws was going to pop up and get me. I just had a lot of fun, you know, swimming around as a little scuba guy, blasting things and waiting for sharks to come at me. So definitely had a lot of fun with this game as a kid, and I agree there may be a few shortcomings with the game itself, but as far as movie adaptations, there are many worse Nintendo games that were based off movies, many worse games than Jaws, despite what you may have heard from your friends or on the internet or from the gaming community. Not as bad a game as everyone makes it out to be. Just a little bit misunderstood, I think. You have to think about it in a different context, and we'll get into that as we go. But as we always do, we like to start by talking a little bit about the history of the game, a little bit about the movies. We did a little bit of that. I always like to feature the box art. I think it's really cool, you know, to talk about the box art. This is reminiscent of the original movie poster for the original Jaws. The game itself does not follow any one plot, and that might be one of the reasons why it's got a bad rap as like a movie game, because it kind of uses elements from all of the Jaws movies. By the time this came out, we were on Jaws 4, The Revenge. I think that's what it was called, Jaws 4, The Revenge. And, you know, so they had 4 films in the franchise that all followed a very common formula. There's a gigantic killer shark, and it's terrorizing people, and someone's got to go hunt it and you know, rid the beaches or SeaWorld of this menace. So that's the basic gist of all the movies. The game itself, you can't really pin this game to one specific movie, even though the art on the front of the box is you know, takes a lot from the original movie poster from the 1975 original Jaws movie. But it says, "This time there's no escape." On the back it says, "This can't be. There's never been a great white in these warm tropical waters before. Never. This is more than a coincidence. The shark appears to be possessed, as if it's hunting you down like it's personal. You better prepare yourself and strike back before it's too late." I loved reading that as a kid. This movie is essentially, it was a horror movie. I mean, that's kind of what it was. You know, there was this sinister sense that Jaws was going to get you. And you didn't know when and you didn't know how, but anytime you were in the water, you ran the risk of Jaws creeping up on you and eating you. Will you use the mini sub, the seaplane, the sailboat, or just old-fashioned scuba gear? Perhaps it won't even matter. Remember, this is some kind of unbelievably powerful eating machine that you're dealing with. Quick, grab your weapons, pack your explosives, and check your maps. It's out there. You know it, and it's coming for you. This is serious. This is the ultimate Jaws challenge. Because this time, it's not over until only one of you is left alive. And features a few screenshots from the game, which I won't spend too much time on because we're going to see it for ourselves in a minute. So yeah, Jaws, kind of a horror movie. I mean, it's kind of Hitchcock, you know, in the sense that there's just this building tension. I mean, it was interesting about the movie because they made these giant mechanical sharks that, you know, for the time looked very realistic, and they were just absurdly expensive, right? like a huge portion of the whole movie budget was just spent on a few sharks they constructed, like mechanical, automated, like giant iron or steel, like puppets, basically, that they planned on trolling around in the ocean, but they never worked right. Like Steven Spielberg is often quoted as saying, it was such a nightmare to work with these sharks because they never worked right. Every time they tried to film something, they would break. There would be all kinds of production delays because they could never get the sharks working. So in the actual original Jaws movie, the shark itself doesn't even appear in the movie until an hour and a half into the 2-hour movie. Because of that reason, they had so few chances to get footage because it never worked right. But it didn't change the fact that you were terrified the whole time. You know, they were able to build the suspense with like the music and the cinematography and get you like real scared and paranoid about the shark. So I like to think the game does the same for you, the player. However, you know, it's been 30 years since I really, you know, played this game basically in great depth. So maybe what I'm remembering as a kid, the terror I felt wondering if Jaws was going to pop out of the water and get me at any time, I'm wondering if that stands the test of time. I'm wondering if I still believe that to be the case now that I'm an adult. I haven't played too much of this game. I played it a little bit when I got it for my collection because I loved it and I remembered it, but I've never beaten it, not as a kid, and I haven't really tried yet as an adult. I don't think it's that hard to beat as an adult, but maybe as a child, you know, it'd be a struggle. It's not a complicated game. It's certainly not as difficult as that ridiculous nonsense Akari Warriors that we played yesterday. Oh, that game was a joke. If any of you haven't watched that video, just skip it. You're just going to see the game over screen 100 times. It's a nightmare. No, I'm just kidding. Watch it. You should totally watch all my videos. They're great. So yeah, I mean, you know, I hope it lives up to what I remember as a kid. It probably won't, but I'm still going to love every second of it. And I hope we get really far into the game playing today. I think it's been accused of being too short. You know, there's not a lot going on other than like the repetition of the screens where you're swimming around hunting things. You collect currency, you have to upgrade your boat. You slowly damage the main Jaws shark over time, and then there's an end scene where you get to fight him. If we get there today, that'd be great. I don't think it's impossible to. It's certainly not impossible to beat. In fact, if you stick with it, you could probably beat this game in an hour. If you were just playing casually as an adult. So maybe that's some criticism aimed at the game, that it was too simple or too easy. I don't know. As a child, though, as a six-year-old, Master G loved it and never beat it, and could handle it, could understand it, could play it. Unfortunately, as I've mentioned before on the show, when you are renting these games from the old Blockbuster back in 1992 or 1991, you never get these manuals. They're gone. They're not in the box. If you see one in there, it's a miracle. I never had the manual as a kid. I never had any clue what I was supposed to be doing in this game. I'm actually looking at this manual for the first time. I just recently acquired it for the collection, and I made a point to not look at it because I wanted to look at it on the show and see if it was clear in the manual actually what you're supposed to be doing in the game. Because when you rent this game as a kid and you don't have the manual to tell you what the point of it is, you just drive your boat around all day waiting for sharks to get you, and then you pop into the water and try to fend them off. Get back into your boat, do it again. I mean, you don't really understand if you don't have the manual what you're supposed to be doing, so you just keep playing that mini game over and over again, and it's a lot of fun if you're 6 years old. So yeah, let's get into the manual. I always scan my original manuals. I did the same for this one, so I can share it with you. I'll put it up on the screen there. There you go. You see it? You see it? Jaws, the NES game manual. I'm going to pull up my projector and go through it here. So yes, Jaws, treat your LJN game carefully. Honestly, most of the games that LJN made were terrible. I wouldn't blame you if you burn them, if you put them in the fridge, if you smash them to dust with a hammer. Most of them are god-awful, but don't do it to Jaws. For me, don't do it to Jaws. I don't care how much you think this game is bad. It has a special place in my heart, and I don't want to see it destroyed. This can't be okay. So I read this for you. This was from the back, the cover, the back of the box there. You know, get your weapons, your explosives, check your maps. It's out there. You know it. It's coming for you. It's serious. This is the ultimate Jaws challenge. Okay, time's not. It's not over. It's not over until only one of us is left alive. All right. So you got your control pad, your D-pad, moving your boat around, moving your scuba diver around, moving your planes around, moving your submarine around, depending on if you get the sub. A and B attacks Jaws or other sea creatures, so it's really only one button. You swim around, you shoot. You fly around, you shoot. You drive your boat around, you shoot. Both buttons shoot, A or B. It's very simple and straightforward. Select button does nothing. Start button pauses the game. It doesn't get any easier than that, folks. Game guide. Jaws is made up of 5 scenes, which are shown at the right. The screen's appearance and operation of the controller are different for each scene. The game starts with the map scene, so that's the overhead map, right? You're driving a boat around above water. Fins will pop up and chase you periodically with scary music, if I remember correctly. One of them touches you. You have to fight Jaws. That's when the screen changes to a side view and the boat's up above the water and most of the screen is below the water. You pop off your boat and your scuba gear and you're swimming around with your little flippers and your little harpoon gun or whatever it is, shooting at things. Sometimes the screen will automatically change to the side view without touching Jaws. This happens because the boat's been touched by a sea creature which is too small to be seen. I never understood what was happening. I just drove the boat around until it put me underwater and let me fight stuff. You need to collect conch shells. That wasn't apparent to me as a kid, but the conch shells are apparently the currency in the game. You need to use those conch shells to increase your energy level, at which point you can purchase a transmitter or a strobe light, and you have to do that so you can get, it like beeps faster when Jaws is closer to you, because you can't see him until he's like real close to you and his fin pops out of the water. So you have to keep doing that till you get those items. You keep doing these little mini cutscenes where you're underwater shooting things, collecting shells. Take the shells back to a store, I think, and upgrade your boat. When you lose all of your lives, the game's over. That makes sense. So this is the overhead map. This is where you're driving your little boat around and the fin is chasing you. You have a shell count. Like I said, I think that's your currency. You got a transmitter. Well, if you earn enough to get the transmitter, then it'll beep like that when Jaws is close, because you won't always see the fin. You'll just hear that sinister music, I hope. In the map scene, you move the boat around trying to avoid fighting Jaws because you're not strong enough to kill Jaws early on. You don't want to encounter him until you get a lot of conch shells and upgrade your energy and your levels and stuff, because you can't really do much to him when you're first starting out. So we're going to try to avoid him early on. Like he says, the fin's usually invisible, suddenly appears near the boat, but that's why you need the transmitter so you can tell where he is with the beeping. There are 2 harbors in the map scene where you can get the transmitter or increase your energy level, both depending on the number of conch shells you've collected. So the name of the game is to collect conch shells. This is that side view screen. So after you're in the water, you're swimming around, you got your little scuba dude. Looks like you could be in a submarine, you could be the diver, you could be in a boat. You know, it's basically just little mini games like this where you're blasting things. You like other smaller sharks or other aggressive creatures, and then you collect conch shells. You get enough shells, you upgrade, and that's kind of what the goal is. I have no idea what power level I need to actually defeat Jaws, because it never made any sense to me what I was supposed to be doing when I was a kid playing this game. So diver's pretty easy. I mean, you know, it's a fluid control. It's good. So you're swimming around. You're gonna as you're swimming, you're gonna move past when you stop pushing the button because you're drifting through the water. So A, quick stops turns you, but B is your shoot button. You just fight things and collect conch shells. The boat, you know, change directions. You can drop bombs off your boat. When you run into Jaws' fin, you fight him with the boat. If the boat is attacked by other sea creatures, it changes to the diver. So when you encounter Jaws, you're chucking bombs to the left or the right. When Jaws or another creature crashes into your boat, you get thrown into the water, and then it's just run away from Jaws before he gets you. That's when it got real fun as a kid. The mini sub. I never got the mini sub. I don't know what the mini sub is. Certainly, I don't think this is from the movie. Maybe the third one had a mini sub. I'm really not even sure. The third one was the 3D Jaws that came out in the 70s. Classic. When your score reaches a certain number of points, you are playing at, the mini sub appears somewhere in the map. You can use it until it's attacked by Jaws or other sea creatures. That's when it changes into the diver. I guess it's just a more powerful thing. So when you're the diver, you got the one bullet shooty thing, but maybe you upgrade to the sub and you can use that to shoot torpedoes and bombs and things. We'll see. We'll try to find it today. What else we got? The bonus scene. So occasionally you get a bonus scene. It's just another mini game. I mean, that's what it is, you know. Number is random game by game. So the screen will just automatically change to the bonus scene. You collect conch shells just like any other mini game, but you're flying around in a plane up above and you're dropping bombs out of the plane, and there's like jellyfish spinning around, kind of like the old arcade games like your Galaga and stuff. They move around in patterns, and you just try to hit as many of them as you can to collect conch shells. It's basics. And then this is the final scene, which I never saw as a kid. Never got to this because I had no idea what the point of the game was other than to just run around and get scared, which was more than enough fun for 6-year-old Master G. When you attack Jaws enough for the Jaws power indicator to decrease to 0, so you have to chip away at him as you go, as you're in those underwater scenes. Eventually, you get him down to the point where next time you run into him, you change into the final scene. And this is kind of a weird scene where he's sticking up out of the water like that, and you can, depending on the number of strobe lights you have, each time you press A for each strobe light, he rises up out of the water. You got to drive the front of the boat into him to kill him. So you're trying to like harpoon him with the front of your boat. You start with 3 strobe lights, but they're not displayed until the final scene. In addition to these 3, you can buy more. So I guess that's the name of the game. Stock up, get your power up, stock up on strobe lights, make sure you're ready so when you get into the final scene you have enough strobe lights. But essentially you're just moving your boat right and left. Push A to get Jaws up out of the water, push B to stab him with the boat. I hope we get to that point today. Okay, next. Jaws, 20 points per hit. He's the bigger shark, the biggest shark. Small shark, 500 points, just for blasting the smaller shark. We're going to see plenty of smaller sharks today. You also got conch shells, which don't give you points, I don't think. They're just currency. Starfish, which, you know, I guess we'll collect. Doesn't even say what they do in the manual. Rays, which you do shoot. Jellyfish, crabs. Oh, the crabs make you fast. I didn't even know that. So interesting. So these little icons will be popping around in the underwater scene. We'll pick them up or shoot them. And that's it. Then it's compliance and warranty information, and that's the end of the manual. So that was fun. That was fun for me because, like I said, I always wished one day I would open up that box from my video game rental and find a manual inside, and I never did. So I never really got that when I was playing as a kid. All right, guys, we're gonna take a very short break. We'll be back. We'll get right into it with the gameplay after this brief pause. So go ahead and make yourself a drink if you don't have one. Get some water, get some snacks, get settled in. When we come back, we are going to be playing the NES version of Jaws together for at least the next hour. So we will see you soon. All right. Thanks for coming back to join us for the NES Happy Hour with Fitz and Master G. As promised, we're going to get into it with Jaws. I'm going to push the button on this original console behind me. We'll see if she fires right up on the first try. Cross your fingers. Nailed it. Oh, there's that music. You know, interestingly enough, they designed this. I read that they designed this music, you know, the Japanese team, and didn't give any credit whatsoever to John Williams anywhere in the game for copying that, you know, that score. Well, Fitz has the hiccups. He needs to get straightened out before we get going. Okay, here we go. We ready? Jaws, 3 lives. Alright, so yes, the overhead map. See what I mean? It's terrifying. You have no idea when Jaws is going to come out and get you. If you're a little kid playing this game, you're loving every minute of it. You know, I've hit something, right? Now you're in the water. See what I mean? Like you gotta avoid things and shoot them, and then they turn into conch shells. Pick up your conch shells. What's the matter, Fitzy? Not good. I need to get conch shells. What's the star do? Just points. Just points. Crabs make you faster. I think you just don't wanna go too close to the sides of the screen, right? You wanna stay in the middle because the creatures come out of the side of the screen. And if I were to tell you what the point of this is, like when it ends, I couldn't say. I don't really know. Oh, Fitz, be careful, buddy. Don't you turn off the NES. Okay, he's going over to his side. We're good. Woo! Almost got hit there. So yeah, I'm a little rusty. I need to get better at it. I definitely need to get quicker here. I need to get more conch shells, or this is going to take us a long time. So that's what it is. The shells, the currency, right? That's what you need to get. Oh, and then it's just over. I'm gonna let Fitzy out so he doesn't cry. All right, buddy. Go on. All right. Back to the game. So that's what I mean. Like, I've hit something again somehow. I was gonna tell you about how when I was a kid, I didn't really know that there was anything to do in this game other than to drive your little boat around and keep having this happen. Like it wasn't... Ew! It's close. It wasn't clear that I needed the conch shells or that I could do anything with them. But now I know. So now I'm gonna try to actually beat... Jellyfish came out of nowhere. That's not good. We are a long way away from the end of this game, so getting hit by a jellyfish that early, not great. Not gonna help us. I'm gonna make my screen a little bigger. Let me see here, so I can get the full sense of this. If anybody's watching on the website, unfortunately, I don't think you can chat from there. If you'd like to participate in our chat, I believe you're going to need to pop on over to the Twitch channel where we are filming live, and then perhaps I can read your chats and we can talk about how awesome this game is. Alright, off we go. I don't even know what I hit. There's no way to tell. I don't see anything there. Oh man, that was bad. I don't feel faster. I heard the crab is supposed to make me faster, but it doesn't feel like I'm swimming much faster. Ah! Void. We missed our chance with that one. I don't even really care about the stars. I'm not in it for points here. I just want the shells. Whoops. Oh, man, fail. Okay, we're gonna... Miss! Oh my goodness, guys. I'm not getting anything in this level. I lose all my shells, too? That's a bummer. Collected 3 from before, didn't I? Alright. I think you just gotta stay away from the sides of the screen. Stay away from the bottom of the screen, because you never know when that jellyfish is gonna pop out and get you. You don't know where he's gonna pop out and get you. Shells! Oh! We got a mini shark! Yeah, they're annoying. They kind of chase you. Also, they take a lot of shots. Okay, only one shell. Oh, I get the bonus scene. So this is the bonus scene. Totally random. You just... See what I mean? Like... I'm not controlling the boat. All I can do is drop 3 bombs at a time and try to hit these jellyfish. But I guess it gives you like... I guess it gives you shells or whatever. You know. It's just like a little fun mini game, as if the game itself isn't just one big mini game. I don't know how long this goes on. Oh, wow, that was bad. Probably could have got a few more of those. Is that it? Oh, get them all. Come on, get them. Get them. Nope. I don't know the patterns. I guess that's the name of this game. Just memorize the patterns so you can get them all every time. I don't think it's gonna be good, guys. I don't think I did so well there. I got 5 shells. Hey, the instruction manual doesn't tell you how many shells you need to buy different things, so I think the ports are like over here somewhere. No, up there. There's one. Oh, Jaws! Jaws is chasing us. Get away from him. We're not strong enough. I got the receiver. Excellent. Now it's gonna beep when he comes close. Oh, he was just waiting for me. You know, it's sad that the only things that have killed me so far in this game are jellyfish. Didn't have any trouble with the sharks. No problem. Just jellyfish keep getting me. I lost my receiver. I lost a bunch of shells. It's very disappointing. And it was so shallow, too. You know, because I ran into Jaws right on the shoreline, so I was totally screwed. That was close. That was close. I had a lot of fun writing the bar trivia segment for this episode. It's all just going to be Jaws movie trivia. So if you're a film buff, you're probably going to know all the answers. But man, there's so much good Jaws trivia. It was hard to settle on just 5 questions. Man, I thought he was going to get me. I don't want to talk too much about the movie because I feel like I'm going to give away trivia answers, and I don't want to help you get the answers. I'm getting a lot of shells in this time. Ugh. This feels risky. Get away from the side of the screen. All right. I think it was. He didn't even. Okay. I can't really stop him. Like, I'm not strong enough. Look how much power he has. You see that? Like, I'm barely even... I don't even think I'm hurting him. But at least it's easier to avoid him if you run into him in open ocean. Which is definitely... If you're gonna accidentally run into Jaws too early in this game, you definitely want him to get you in open ocean. Because you can see, like, I don't have enough shells. I don't have enough power to actually do any damage. So, you know, that's why you want to just, like, keep collecting shells. Because it, like, levels you up, I guess. I mean, that wasn't apparent to me when I was a kid. I had no idea that's what the shells were for. I just thought they were, like, a high score, you know. Oh, I collected a lot of shells this game. I did better than you. But no, they're actually important. They're actually currency, so to speak. I don't know when this ends. Like, I'm never gonna, like, take him out. I hope this just ends randomly after I've pissed him off enough. Maybe he just leaves you alone. Cause I mean, that was close. I was almost bit in half there, guys. There's gonna be an Amity Island Iced Tea bloodbath everywhere on the screen. Well, I mean, I got 3 ticks of damage on him, and he's still coming at me. So maybe you do have to keep playing. Oh man, now there's a little shark. I don't need that. I'll take the shell though. I will take the shell. All right, here we go. I fended him off. Now, I want that receiver. Good. Give me another receiver. Yep. That cost 5 shells, apparently. Although it never told me that in the manual. So it beeps faster when Jaws is close. So you gotta pay attention to the beeps, right? You get it. And just collect a buttload of shells, folks. Wow, jellyfish land here. I think I prefer the manta rays, the stingrays, to the jellyfish. I don't know why. I just can't. I just suck at avoiding them. Apparently, I'm not skilled enough to avoid the jellyfish. I can deal with lateral movement. Oh wow. Okay. That was unfortunate. That might be my last life. Ooh, okay. I think we just needed that. We just needed that to get warmed up, you know, to get a feel for it. This is a bummer that this is the only time you hear the music. I would like to hear that music play the entire time. I don't know why I remembered that wrong. I definitely thought that was the case from my childhood memories, but you know, it's a thing people do. Misremember decades ago. Alright, let's get after it again. I don't think we made it very far, so we did have a nice cutscene where we fought Jaws for a little bit, but we were nowhere near powerful enough to defeat him. Give me a shell! Bro! Wow, it's just totally random, I guess. I can't get a shell to save my life. Plenty of crabs, though. Plenty of crabs in this part of the ocean. No shells. Maybe the jellyfish have the shells. Yeah, it's over, I think. No? Okay. Get another chance. Ah, man. Miss. There's one. I need 5. I definitely want to go get the transmitter, but I need 5 shells, and I got nothing. Let's go slower. I'm already getting... See, I didn't even see him come that time. It was just like, he was just on me, instantly. You know? I didn't even see the fin. When I was a kid, that was the best part of this game. Just like never knowing when Jaws was gonna get you. Woo! Dodging that time. Thankfully, I'm a little bit faster than Jaws, so I can get out of his way when he's coming at me. It's just whether or not there's going to be a manta ray above me when I'm ready to dodge him. I don't know, but I kind of do want to shoot some of these. It'd be great if I could get some shells in this level. Yeah, definitely my nemesis, right? I was so worried I was going to run into the ray below me. I was like, oh no, I should go up. What I want. Give me a shell. That shell. Oh, it went away. I lost it. Oh, man, why is there another shark? Like Jaws' little brother chasing me here. Oh, coming at me from both sides. I don't like that. I was real tense that time. I was real tense. Man, struggling. Give me some shells. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. comments in the chat. You'll have a numb hand by the end of this game. Yeah, it's pretty much just mash the B button. I mean, I guess, okay, so here's what I was getting at in the first part of the show when I was talking about the bad rap that this game gets. Like, I agree it's not complicated. I mean, you might even say this entire game is just one or two mini games that could have been just like, you know, parts of a real game. And you might even say that it doesn't even really match the movie Jaws. I mean, I know people criticize like the Back to the Future games for not being anything like the movie. I would just say this. If the movie Jaws, and this is my challenge to you who don't like this game or think it's terrible because of something you heard. My challenge to you is this. If there was never a movie franchise about a killer shark called Jaws, and this game alone just came out independently on the Nintendo in 1988, you wouldn't have much to complain about. It's kind of fun. Like, it's not overly complicated, but like, there's stuff to learn, there's stuff to figure out, the controls are very fluid. Like, the only reason people, I think, give it a bad rap is because it's kind of weird, it's kind of not like Jaws, it's kind of one-dimensional. But, I mean, you know, it's old hardware. Like, I don't know, when I was 6 years old, this was the game that I enjoyed playing because it was easy. I mean, easier to understand. I never really, like, beat it, but, you know. I always hate when people tell me like, oh, Jaws, oh, what a terrible game, oh, that's got to be like one of the top 10 worst NES games. I can give you 30 worse games than Jaws at least. And that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure as I play through every game in the library here, I'll have some more opinions about games that belong in the worst NES games list. I'll reserve my judgment about Akari Warriors until I get to play 2-player. If it's just as miserable 2-player, it's going right in my top 10. Oh, that was yesterday's game. Oh, Jaws, run, run! At least I had some warning that time. I got the shells. I guess I better go pick up the receiver. Yeah, here we go. It's not beeping. Yeah, I would like to just try to avoid Jaws completely for a while. Wasn't there... Didn't the instruction manual say something about like a second port? I thought there were 2 places where you could essentially upgrade. I need to find the other one. I don't remember where the other one is. And I might just have that wrong. Maybe there's only one and you just have to keep going back there to get jeez. Thought I was in track there. Nope. Not worth it, crab. Points. What are points for? Shells? No shells. Yeah, there's definitely supposed to be 2. Oh man, overshot it. Man, I am not hitting anything here. That's alright, nothing's giving me shells either. Goodness. Alright, I need to focus. I need to focus. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it probably is. This game probably is a lot like the Friday the 13th game. You know, it's a horror movie, you're just trying to kill him. You know, it takes forever. You have to progress through it until you get to the point where you can. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. Woo. Alright. Get back to the middle. I never like being on the sides. I have no idea where those things are going to come out at you. Alright, let's go find this port. Wow, that receiver didn't really tell me in advance of him popping up with the water. It started beeping like the moment his fin appeared. Like, what good was the receiver? Oh man, I totally thought getting that receiver would allow me... Yeah, there's no way I was going to get that seashell. I knew that jellyfish was coming out. I knew it. They're just taunting me. Trying to get me to go over there and pick it up so the jellyfish can get me. That's the real menace in this game. Jellyfish. Don't mess with the jellyfish. Woo! That was close. That was close. I don't like going over there to get those. I need to start trying to kill things in the middle of the screen. So I don't have to, like, risk getting crushed by a jellyfish. Go behind him. Yeah, I'm going back to that first port to see if I can upgrade anything there. I don't care about the star. I'm not going to risk that. We'll take that, though. Woo! Jackpot! This is my kind of ocean right here. All kinds of shells. What do we got? Anybody? Anybody coming at me? What's going on here? Oh, bonus scene where inexplicably you throw bombs out of a plane at jellyfish. No, I love this. This is fun. Man, I have not mastered these patterns though. Like that. I don't have any idea where they're gonna go next. I gotta learn this. This is bad. Oh, I missed all of them! You gotta be kidding me! Oh, I got two. I got two at the end. Not a complete embarrassment here. That's different. I don't think I've seen that pattern before. Maybe I just don't remember it. Holy cow, that was bad. Oof, 10 hits. I think I got 15 last time I did that. Okay, I got 20 shells, but where can... Oh, man. Wow, jellyfish are moving diagonally now. Is that because I've got enough shells that I'm like higher level or something? I do not like that. I do not like that change. Baby Jaws. Oh man, it's no good. Oh, I lost half my shells for dying. That's not good. Dang. All right, let's just. Oh, and I lose the transmitter too, so I gotta screw that. I mean, I don't want to rebuy the transmitter, but I don't see the shop anywhere. Like, there's only one port, so I'm not sure what the manual is talking about. Where is the other port? If anybody is watching at home, tell me where the other port is or how to make it appear. You know, something I think over the course of my adult life, I heard randomly, because I watch a lot of these commentaries about games, that I seem to remember maybe you have to get to a certain level before the other one is accessible. It's up to the left. Isn't the spawn point up to the left? Okay, yeah, we'll check that out. like where I started. Yeah, that makes sense. It doesn't dawn on me to go back to where I began, but yeah, let's just go back up to where we started this. Oh, man. When did these jellyfish get so nimble? I like them better when they just went straight up. Oh, that was close. I thought he was gonna get me. This game makes me tense. Even as an adult, I still feel I still feel nervous, just like I did when I was a kid. All right, let's try not to run into Jaws. It's all right. We can get some more shells. It's just the jellyfish to watch out for. Punk jellyfish. Oh man. Holy cow, that was close. Alright, we did it. Screw that. I'm staying in the middle. I don't want any more shells. I just want to get out of the water. I'm done. I'm done. I've had enough. Alright. Okay. Oh no. Jaws is right there. You saw the fin come out of the water. Right when I come out of this mode, I'm gonna get hit by Jaws. At least I had warning this time, and I'm not gonna be surprised by it. Oh nope, Jaws is here. I thought we avoided it. I thought it was just a random thing, but this is Jaws. Freaking shell was like off the screen and I couldn't pick it up. I wonder if you had the turbo controller, if you could just blast a million bullets now. I think there's only 3 allowed on the screen at a time. Oh, you're right. This is exhausting though. It's gonna hurt my thumbs. My forearm's getting tired already, just from mashing B. Get out of here, Jaws. Leave me alone. How many times do I have to shoot you in the face? I thought if you punched a shark in the nose, it would leave you alone. Wasn't that your understanding? That was my understanding. If the shark latches on you, punch him in the nose. I mean, don't blame me if that doesn't work. That's just what I heard. I'm no shark fighting expert, but I'm sure I've come across that at some point in my life. They don't like to be punched in the nose. Bonus scene. Alright, I'll take the bonus scene. I mean, it's kind of pointless though, because I'm so bad at this. I can't even... Man. Miss, 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 miss. Oh gosh. Are all these different? This is definitely a completely different pattern. This is definitely not a pattern that I've seen yet. This one I might have seen. This is like zigzaggy one. Even worse. That was my worst showing yet. I got 3 shells for it though. Alright. Jaws. Run away, Jaws. Alright, we're going back up to the start. You're right. That's exactly right. Wait. It's not doing anything. I'm pushing all the buttons. Oh man, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, back at it. Let's get back in the water. I'm gonna go buy the transmitter again, I guess. Jellyfish land. We're in jellyfish land, guys. The worst. I don't even want the star. I just know the moment I get that star, a jellyfish is gonna get me. Not worth it. Points. Who needs points? I need shells. Points. Oh no. Oh no. Woo! I was committed that time. I was like, it's me or him. I'm not moving. I'm just gonna button mash. I'll get him. I can press B faster than that shark can swim. We done? I don't see any more fish. Oh, don't be Jaws. Good, good, good. Just diagonal jellyfish again. They chase you! They chase you now! Okay. Definitely the hardest part of this game is jellyfish. It's not sharks, guys. The real terrors of the deep are the jellyfish. Oh, I lost half my shells again. Oh no, game over that time. I didn't even get to lose my shells. That one hurt. That one hurt me. Well, I think we've learned that I'm still trying to figure out how to get through this game, even as an adult. I mean, it never bothered me as a kid, but it's probably going to bother me as an adult. This is one I'm going to have to come back to if we don't beat it today. I'm going to have to come back to this one and figure out how to do it. Oh, what is this? The shallows. Shallows. Not fun. I thought I had read enough to know what to do, but I guess I just got to keep going back to that same port after I get the transmitter and see what happens the second time. Let's just get 5 shells. Let's go, and then we'll. I want that shell. I'm taking it. I want it. It's the jellyfish. That was pure luck. I just need to make sure I never stop shooting, because there's gonna be a jellyfish on me at any point in time. I still need 2 more shells. Yeah, I've hit something. I think it was Jaws. Was it not Jaws? Wasn't it Jaws? It wasn't. Okay. Interesting. Oh no, there he is. Yeah, he's still here. He's still angry. Can I just ignore him and shoot other things to collect shells? Or will he just never leave me alone if I don't shoot him a bunch? I'm not getting that shell. Too close to the side of the map. Luck. Again, luck with the jellyfish. Never stop shooting in this game. It's not because of Jaws, it's just because the jellyfish are going to be on you in a flash. You'll never see it coming. Woo! Jaws, leave me alone, man. Let me get out of the water and back in my boat. I'm trying to advance this game somehow. I ain't got time for this nonsense, Jaws. You are not the problem. You are not my greatest challenge, Jaws. It's the jellyfish. You've proven that. At least there's a lot of water. It's pretty easy to avoid him. tight. That was close. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The game's simple. It's not complicated. Does that make it a bad game? I don't think so. Sometimes you just need something like that, you know? A game that you can just plug away at. It's kind of repetitive. It's kind of mindless, but, you know, eventually you'll get to the end, I think. It's fun. Man, biff that. Oh, impossible. Couldn't have got him if I wanted to. At least I got 11 hits this time. Not gonna be my worst showing. Ugh. 14. Take it. I'll take it. Give me some shells for that. 4 shells. Yep. I fended off Jaws. I got 4 shells. Oh man. Just want to get to the fort. Wait, is this Jaws again? Why is Jaws here? You see how his health replenishes? That's why you need to get a bunch of shells and power-ups, because he's going to replenish all his health every time, and you need to be able to deplete that whole bar in one go of this minigame. So I think I have the answer, that there's really no point in like attacking Jaws here because you can't kill him. So maybe you should just try to get shells. I mean, the whole game is just trying to get shells, right? Stars. I don't want stars, I want shells. Leave me be, Jaws. Leave me be. Alright. I can now track Jaws with the receiver. Who cares? Because I can see his fin before the receiver warns me. Oh no. Man, really love giving me these stars. Goodness, come on, give me some shells. There we go. Can't even pick that one up. It's not even gonna let me. The ground rays, those are the ones with the shells apparently. And the baby Jaws. Alright, I'm going back to port. Oh, of course Jaws is here. Oh, good. It's the shallows. Oh, I guess we're dead. Not enough space. Why does there have to be so many jellyfish everywhere? That's what I'm curious about. Is something wrong with your ocean? Like, is there like an algae bloom of some kind? Like, why are there jellyfish everywhere? I feel like they need to go kind of out into the open ocean. Like you really, what you really have here, it's not a shark problem. You have a jellyfish problem, Amity. And nobody likes jellyfish. Like no beachgoer wants to get stung by the thousands of jellyfish at your bay. You know? I'm just saying. You need to deal with the jellyfish problem first, then we'll talk about your shark problem. Pales in comparison to the jellyfish issues. Bonus scene. Oh, miss. Woo! Oh, that was my only chance to get all 5. I don't know if anything happens if you get all 5. I don't know. I just assume from other arcade games that if you get all of them, you get some kind of bonus. It's probably not even the case for this one. Got him while he was off screen. 15! What? I'm going right. Good. Now we got the aggressive jellyfish. Not just the ones that swim straight up. The ones that chase you around the map. For some reason, we've now qualified for the aggression. So now we're gonna get attack jellyfish instead of just the normal up and down kind. Yep, that one's chasing me. Did not expect him to be on the map there. Going up to the top. If we're getting diagonal jellyfish, I need to get up to the top. Oh, come on. All the shells drop to the bottom. That's where they're gonna get me. Oh, this guy, every one of these gives you a shell, I think. Right, yeah. I can't get that shell. That's it, I think we're done. No more enemies. Okay, I can track him with the receiver. What if I just go right back into port? Can I do that? What? What? Why is Jaws right here? No! Get away from me, Jaws! I went right back into the port. So... Do you have to go back and forth, you think? Like, maybe I have to pick up the receiver and then I can go to the home port? Get something else? Oh, I don't understand. I also can't do it. Like, I'm not capable of actually... One thing I can tell you, you do not want to run into Jaws in the shallows. Holy cow. Oh, did Nightbot just yell at you? I gotta turn that off. No, you can spam. There's not enough people in the chat for me to care. Just didn't realize the bots were in the chat there. I think all caps is the appropriate response to the frustration. Alright, we're going back. We got 3 shells. I don't think it's enough to do anything, but if I can get back to the other port, at least it's like a proof of concept that we might have figured out what to do. Okay. crowded up here. It's crowded up here, Rays, but I like you more than the jellyfish, so I'm gonna hang out up here with you at the top of the ocean. Oh man, you're gonna make me... It's the damn jellyfish! I told you, I'm fine, except for the jellyfish. That was so close. Oh. At least before I sign off for the Happy Hour live show, I would at least like to know that I have figured out the point of this game so that the next time I play it, I can surely beat it. Oh, good. Late shark. Late to the party. Kill him over there. Kill him in the middle so I can get the shell. Good. Smart tactics. Don't want to kill the sharks on the sides. They give you shells that you need for some reason. Oh, more bonus. Well, that's not going to help me much. I didn't even try, but like I don't even know what I'm supposed to... I got 3 of them. Forget about it. Yeah, it is fun, and it is addicting. Like, you know, it is simple. I mean, I'm not going to say this is like a complicated game, but you could do a lot worse. If this is the only game you had, I mean, you'd have fun with it. After you beat it for the first time, I mean, you probably wouldn't care to play it again. I mean, I'll give you that. It doesn't have replayability, but if you're just looking for like a mindless game, like, you know, there weren't cell phones when this game came out, but this would be a great cell phone game for you to just play while you're waiting, like in the airport or something. You know, it's perfect for that. So, I mean, there is a market for this game. That's it. All right, so you got to get the... What happened? Did something happen? All right, so you got to go back and forth. I guess we know that now. But I didn't see if... What is with the jellyfish levels? Like, they hear me bad-mouthing them. And they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just give them an all jellyfish level. I guess you gotta go back and forth from port to port or something. Did it spend shells? Did I have more than 5 shells when I got to that cutscene? I don't know. I can't, oh, power 2. Okay, that's what it was. I guess you just gotta race back. Are you for real? Are you for real? Oh, the jellyfish. Alright, proof of concept. You do have to go back and forth from port to port. Apparently you gotta go to one, get the transmitter, go to the other, get a power upgrade, go back and forth over and over again until you get to like, what, power 10, power 9. I don't know how... Well, I guess like you just keep increasing your power, and the more power you have, the more damage you'll actually do in the Jaws mode. So, I mean, I guess that's really the gist of it, is you have to figure out how much power upgrade you need for it to even be possible for you to kill Jaws in one cutscene, because you got to get him down to 0 to trigger the final battle. I don't like the shallows. Is there a way I can just like stay out of the shallows permanently? Like, getting a lot of crabs though. I'm gonna be real fast. All the crabs they've been giving me. Ooh, so many crabs. No, I won't do it. I was gonna reset it. I was angry. I was angry about the shallows, but that's okay. Let's get into the middle so we don't have to fight in the shallows anymore. Well, I mean, I gotta get to 5 shells. Okay, Jaws. Man, he is persistent. Alright, alright, alright. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get some upgrades. We're gonna get some power upgrades, and then we'll intentionally take on Jaws and see if I can notice a difference. Then I should be able to predict how many power upgrades you need. Because if I get to like power 3 and we take on Jaws and we only get him down to like a quarter health, then you probably do need to get all the way up to like power 10 before you try to fight him. But we'll see. We'll see if the jellyfish will allow me to get to that point. Man, I needed one more shell. Alright, we'll get it here. I'm sure we'll get one shell in this. Right? Just stars. Just a bunch of stars. Just a bunch of dumb, pointless stars. There's some shells. Woo! I'm getting bold. I'm getting bold now. Going right at him. No fear. Give me those shells. I wonder if you have to exchange shells for the power. I should pay attention next time we get to that point to see if I actually like lose any shells when I go into the home port. I'm sure I can check. I'll check the tapes on YouTube later to see if that was the case. Baby Jaws. Alright, well if you're gonna start me over there, I can't really do much. Can I? Oh, I almost got all 5 that time. Nope, that's not gonna help. Jump! Not in time. Fail. Oh, not my finest moment. At least we got to 10 hits. Oh, we're still going. Oh, that was it. I guess I'm gonna get another chance, right? There's always 2 sets of the pattern. Welp. That's all she wrote, I think. Plenty of shells, though. Plenty of shells. We just gotta get to the base without getting into a fight in the shallows where it's impossible to avoid jellyfish. Okay, got it. Receiver. I'm out. Let's go, let's go. Run, run, run. Oh, if it's Jaws. I like those shells over there, but apparently I need shells, so I can't afford to not pick them up, I think. Just don't like going over to the side of the screen. Risky. Are you gonna be a baby Jaws, like a mini boss, or are we just done? I guess we're just done. Alright, that's good, that's good. That's good. Power 1, you gonna let me out? Here we go. I don't like that beeping. That beeping makes me nervous. I don't see the fin though. I think we're good. I don't think this is a Jaws fight. No, maybe it is. I see the... I don't know. I'm gonna say I see the power bar, but I think that's persistent. Now that I think about it, that's been there the whole time, hasn't it? Oh, jellyfish! That's the scariest part. I'm just getting mad now. Jellyfish are getting me angry, getting me all worked up. Getting all worked up here. Got 2,000 points for that star. I ain't afraid of you, baby Jaws. I am bummed that your shell dropped way over there in the danger zone. Is he going to be waiting for me when I come out? Alright, I have 15 shells, power 1. It only costs 3 shells to upgrade your power? Why won't it let me go back in? No, we're in the shallows too. Holy crap. No Jaws. Please no Jaws. Please just the damn jellyfish. There he is. That is tough when he's waiting for you outside of port. What are you supposed to do? Oh, you're back to power. Well, look, he's just parked there. What am I supposed to do about this? You guys see this nonsense? He's not leaving. I lost my power upgrade. I lost half my shells. I'm going to have to fight Jaws in the shallows. Which means I'm dead. I guess that's one of the tricks to this game, learning how to fight Jaws in the shallows, because you're gonna be stuck here. Maybe just go up and down in the middle. If no jellyfish come in the middle of the screen, maybe you can just avoid. Right? Does that make sense? Just go up and down? Up or down? Okay, maybe that's the trick. I think I figured out the trick to the shallows. Do not stray from the center of the screen. Just hope to God there's no mantas in your way when you're going up and down. Because the jellyfish aren't really... Oh, there's 2 sharks. Of course, you know, that's what the shallows need. A second shark, everyone. Holy crap. Oh, man. So that's Jaws. I'm not certain I'm going to get into it again because you've seen just about all of the game, right? Here, I'm gonna put this audio down. Oh no, it goes away on sound. All right, so that's Jaws, right? You saw the mini game, the main mini game. You saw the bonus game. We figured out the concept of what you're supposed to do. Is it a bad game? No, it's not a bad game. I think it's the right amount of difficulty level. I mean, it drives me crazy, but I think you can figure it out. You know, just like understanding how to manipulate Jaws. Like, for instance, if you get the transmitter, maybe you can get him to like follow you out to open water and then race back to the port so he's not waiting for you right outside the dock when you leave. But additionally, there's got to be a strategy for the shallows, right? Maybe just stay in the center and go up and down. Just basically dodge the... there it goes again. I love that. That's great. Just dodge the mantas coming at you, and you don't have to worry about the jellyfish, but then when they throw a second shark in there, you're kind of screwed. There's supposed to be a mini sub upgrade at some point. I'm assuming as you're going back and forth from port to port over and over again to get your power level up to probably around like 10 or something. I would assume you should just try to max it out and get as high as you can. I mean, you're going to have to fight Jaws. You're not going to be able to avoid fighting Jaws when you're not ready for him. So figure out how high your power level needs to be. You know, the hard part is not getting hit by a jellyfish and, you know, going back and forth without running into Jaws every time. I don't know what the mini sub's actually going to do, but I'm sure I'll be playing this game again on one of the more casual streams where we don't put it up on YouTube as part of our channel for the NES Happy Hour. I'm sure I'll get to the bottom of this game. I'm sure I will beat it. But it won't be today. Today we are going to take a very short break. We'll be back with the bar trivia segment where I will present to you 5 awesome trivia questions related to the movie Jaws, the game we feature today. So if you want to stay tuned and stick around for that, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy scouring the internet for tidbits of information to present to you in trivia format. That's what we're going to do when we come back from this short break. So we will see you soon. All right, we are back with the NES Happy Hour with Fitz and Master G, my little co-host, taking a nap right now. But I am happy to bring you one of my favorite segments of our live variety Happy Hour nostalgia-fueled game show where we play Nintendo games and reminisce about our past. In keeping with our Happy Hour theme, I present to you, let me see, the Bar Trivia Challenge Jaws Edition on the NES Happy Hour with Fitz and Master G. So if you're unfamiliar with this segment, we like to present you with 5 multiple choice questions that sometimes have to do with the game or the game history. Sometimes they have to do with the movie version of the game, which is what today's questions feature. It's usually a lot of pop culture, a lot of nostalgia, TV, movies, relevancy, and sometimes when we just happen to be playing a game that is very difficult to pull trivia for, I just come up with totally crazy connections for trivia questions for the game. Fortunately for you, there is a ton of movie trivia about the 1975 film Jaws, Steven Spielberg's first hit that launched him into the public spotlight as a renowned director. So, without further ado, I present to you the first question in the Bar Trivia Challenge Jaws edition. It is, according to movie lore, well-known movie lore, I might add, Steven Spielberg first noticed Peter Benchley's book Jaws in his producer's office. And he originally thought that book, when he saw it laying there on a pile of papers in his producer's office, was about what? What did he think that book was about when he saw it? A, zombies, Jaws, right? Makes sense. B, dentistry, Jaws, makes perfect sense. C, anatomy, bingo. Or D, boxing. You have 10 seconds to think about it. This is a tricky one, but you might know it. You might have heard this on Jeopardy or something. The clock starts now. If you guessed dentistry, you are correct. A well-known quote from Steven Spielberg, who eventually became famous, much in part due to the success of this movie, was in his producer's office, and there's a pile of papers there, as there always was, and on top of that pile was a copy of Peter Benchley's paperback novel called Jaws, and without thinking too much about it, he just saw the title, and he's quoted as saying, oh, he just thought the book was about dentistry. It's kind of a weird place to go, but I guess it makes sense. Like, if I was going to write a book about dentistry, I might call it Jaws. But yeah, reminiscing on how Jaws came to be and the events that led up to making this movie. It started, at least according to Steven Spielberg, with him seeing a copy of the book on a pile of papers in his producer's office, and he just wrote it off in his mind thinking, oh, it's weird book about dentistry to have sitting in your office, but maybe dentistry's your thing. Fortunately for us, it was about sharks, and it was turned into an awesome movie that everyone alive should watch at least once. It's critical. It's part of pop culture. You need to watch Jaws. You need to know references. There's references to Jaws everywhere, even today. It's one of those films you just have to know, right? All right, question number 2. Are you ready? It is, while filming the movie Jaws, there were 3 mechanical sharks. The 3 mechanical sharks built for use were collectively referred to as Bruce. Bruce the Shark, and Bruce the Shark. But naming these sharks Bruce, who are they named after? Was the name Bruce named after Bruce Rayner, Steven Spielberg's lawyer? Bruce Springsteen, the boss, famous musician from that time period? Well, I guess not from the 70s. Bruce Banner, the Hulk? Or Bruce Lee, the martial artist? Which Bruce were the sharks in the movie Jaws named after? You have 10 seconds. Clock starts now. And according to well-known movie trivia, they collectively decided to refer to the three mechanical sharks as Bruce in honor of Steven Spielberg's lawyer, who I can only imagine was quite a shark. Perhaps all lawyers are that way, but that is why they called the shark Bruce in the movie while they were filming. Definitely named after Spielberg's lawyer, Bruce Rayner. Question number 3. Which famous actor was originally considered for the role of the hero police chief Martin Brody in the film? Which famous actor was originally being considered for the role of Brody? Was it A, Sean Connery? Was it B, Steve McQueen? Was it C, John Travolta? Or was it D, Charlton Heston? You have 10 seconds. The clock starts now. And if you guessed D, you are correct. They, for whatever reason, thought, you know who'd be great? Charlton Heston. I read some things on the internet that would suggest that they had some second thoughts about casting Charlton Heston because he was so well known, or they thought the audience would connect him immediately to that hero, probably from his role as like Moses or something. I don't know. But then they decided, you know, we don't want to give that away. We don't want to make it obvious from the minute he steps onto screen that this guy is the hero of the whole movie. Because if you remember from the movie, there are a bunch of players involved. You know, there's the police chief, you got Quint, you got the Richard Dreyfuss character. You know, they're all in it together. So they didn't want people to immediately know the moment Charlton Heston stepped on the screen, oh, this guy's going to kill Jaws in the end. So they decided to cast someone else so the audience wouldn't instantly know who's gonna be victorious at the end of the movie. I guess Charlton Heston had up until that point never once been casted in any other role than the ultimate quintessential hero of the story, whatever film he was in. So, yeah, a little tidbit there for you. Charlton Heston originally going to be Martin Brody till they had second thoughts. All right. Question number 4. According to movie lore, which revolutionary political figures was known to be one of the biggest fans of the movie Jaws, which came out in 1975? He interpreted the shark as being representative of a symbolic attack on American capitalism. Was this revolutionary political figure who was Jaws' #1 fan? Was it Muammar al-Gaddafi? Was it Fidel Castro? Was it Mao Zedong? Or was it Che Guevara? You have 10 seconds. The clock starts. No. This is a good one. This is real. If you guessed B, you are correct. Fidel. #1 fan of the movie Jaws. Now, here's going to be my advice to you, right? I'm expecting that most of you have already seen the movie Jaws and you have no interest watching it again. But when I discovered this little fact about Fidel being such a huge fan of the movie Jaws because he instantly, without any other help, instantly saw Jaws and said, ah, yes, this shark is symbolic as an attack on American capitalism. I wonder how disappointed he was when the shark was defeated at the end. Maybe he didn't ever watch the ending, but he loved it, and that's what he thought the movie meant. I would encourage you, if you've seen Jaws 100 times and you have no interest in watching it again, next time you watch it, or next time you have an opportunity to watch it, see if you can figure this out. Watch it through that lens, because that's what I'm going to do the next time Jaws is on TV. I'm going to say, you know, maybe Jaws is an attack on American capitalism, and maybe I need to just look at it through that lens and watch the movie one more time, you know, for the 101st time, and suddenly it'll have new meaning to me, like it did for Fidel when he watched it back in the 70s and decided instantly that this movie is all about the horrors of American capitalism and how we should fight against it. Real, true story, facts. Look it up. Fidel, #1 fan. All right, guys. We have one more question left. And it is the fictional Amity Island setting for Jaws in the movie and the namesake of today's featured drink, one of my favorites, the Amity Island Ice Tea, like a Long Island iced tea, but redder for blood in the water, was actually which real-life destination where the movie was filmed? Was Amity Island actually filmed on Cape Cod, in the Hamptons, in Martha's Vineyard, or on the Outer Banks? You have 10 seconds, and the clock starts now. And the correct answer is Martha's Vineyard. They filmed just about every single beach scene, ocean scene, on or off the coast of Martha's Vineyard. And there were tons of beachgoers there because if you're a vacationer, you probably know Martha's Vineyard is a very popular spot up there in Massachusetts. I think I read that they paid every extra $64 because there's so many extras, and they were just totally random, like beachgoers hanging out. So they were like, we'll give you some money. You just have to be an extra because we're taking over the beach for the day. And people were thrilled to do it. Tons of extras in that movie if you pay attention to the background while you're watching movies. Who does that? But yeah, it was all filmed at Martha's Vineyard. All the locations are Martha's Vineyard. Amity Island, not a real place. What you see in the movie is all Martha's Vineyard. So you could probably go there this summer if we are fortunate enough to get through a certain health crisis together and travel again and take vacations all summer. Check it out. Watch the movie. See if you can spot the landmarks. I'm sure there's plenty of Jaws museums in or around Martha's Vineyard. I'm sure that was a big bit of bragging rights for that tourist destination, considering that the 1975 movie Jaws was such an enormous hit. All right, folks, that does it. 5 up, 5 down. I hope you got them all right. Thank you. Thank you for playing the Bar Trivia Challenge Jaws edition on the NES Happy Hour with Fitz and Master G. That concludes our live game show variety hour nostalgia fueled adventure in retro gaming for today. Let's see here. Before you sign off, if you could do us a huge favor and pop on over to Twitch, our channel. If you're not following there, if you're watching on the website, you can pop on over to Twitch using the link on the website. Click the little purple heart. It's the follow button. It's totally free to do. It goes a long way in supporting our stream. We do love our followers who watch and participate in the chat. I love engaging with them. It goes a long way to supporting us. If you haven't been able to see all of the episodes, or you want to catch up on past episodes, I do post them in the archives on our YouTube channel, which you can find also by visiting www.fitzandmasterg.com and clicking on the big red button for YouTube. It'll take you over to my YouTube channel, Retro Gaming Adventures with Master G, and from there you can click the subscribe button, also completely free to do and goes a very long way in supporting the stream. So if you have a minute, we would love if you just pop on over to Twitch and YouTube, subscribe and give us a follow, and join us for our future live tapings of the NES Happy Hour. We'll love to hear from you. I love to see the chats blowing up. I love that you love the show because I love putting it together. We'll be back again tomorrow. We do this on weekdays to keep with the Happy Hour theme. We will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our first actual sports game of the NES library. We're going to be playing a game that came out on the NES called Baseball Stars, which is I would say a hugely significant sports game. Normally people don't think of the sports games in the NES library as really being any good. There were certainly a lot of baseball games that were released, and they're all more or less the same. But It is of note that Baseball Stars was the first to feature a battery on the ROM cart, and giving it that battery allowed you to save stats. So Baseball Stars, which was released on the NES back in 1990, I think, was actually the very first sports game that featured a franchise mode. So if you're a huge fan of sports games in the modern day, playing Madden, maybe playing NHL, doing like the season modes, the franchise mode, that game is probably where it started. The idea that you could build your own team, that you could save it, that by winning games and finishing seasons, you could acquire wealth or currency, buy more players, buy more stats, keep saving that team, and keep playing your custom-built team that you've built up over years of playing the game against other computer-controlled teams. So that was really kind of the first time it really worked, and that it really worked successfully. So if you're a fan of sports games, tune in tomorrow. We'll be playing Baseball Stars. I'll be talking all about that save state and the franchise mode and all the cool features that make that sports game stand out from the rest of the NES library of sports games. So we hope to see you then. Like I said, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Eastern, right here, same time, same place. We'll see you. I hope you have a good evening.